The U.S. military is and always has been America's strongest link to South Korea. When the military first came to Korea 4 decades ago, they were heroes. They came to accept the surrender of the Japanese after World War II and returned again in 1950 to fight the Korean War. The older generation remembers this time with gratitude, but the new generation does not.
They look at their elders and they say, why do you put so much trust in the Americans?
Bill Fullerton, Chief of Public Information for the 8th Army.
We don't have this closeness that we once had, and it has changed.
When the Korean War began, South Korea was virtually defenseless. Her troops amounted to little more than a police border force. Today, however, the Republic of Korea boasts a strong, professional, and capable defense.
We've got a 151-mile demilitarized zone. Of that entire length, we've got about 2 miles of it where Americans serve. The rest of it is all Koreans. They're the ones that have the tallest mountains and the toughest territory, and they do a great job at it. We haven't always given them, sufficient credit.
The U.S. and Korean combined forces are 645,000 strong, 45,000 Americans, 600,000 Koreans. But an American four-star general holds the top command post, and that fact has created ill will. The massacre in Gwangju in May 1980 was a turning point. President Park Chung-hee had been assassinated the previous fall, and Lieutenant General Chun Do-hwa, the future president, had taken control. Citizen protests spread throughout the country, demanding the army step aside. In Gwangju, a city in the southwest, student rebels took over. 18,000 South Korean troops moved in, and after a 9-day standoff, they attacked. In less than 2 hours, the rebellion was put down. The official dead count was 191, but opposition forces say it was closer to 2,000 people killed that day in Gwangju. No American soldiers took part, but because an American is at the top of the chain of command, many Koreans are convinced the U.S. military knew and approved of the attack.
You're dealing with perceptions here. The initial forces that went to Gwangju that were sent down by the Korean government were not part of the Combined Forces Command. They were paratroopers, and they belonged to the Korean government. We had nothing to do with it.
Gwangju remains a rallying cry today in Korea, and it has changed how many Koreans feel about the presence of the U.S. military in their land. Yet it is unlikely the U.S. will leave. This is only an exercise. The prisoner is actually part of the 8th Army. But the threat from North Korea is real, and South Korea needs the U.S. presence. And the U.S. needs South Korea because it is a strategic base in an increasingly important part of the world.